Hi, I'm going to go through the first 10 questions on this November paper for OCR. It's a paper 5, and paper 5 on OCR is a non-calculated paper. So let's get into it. We've got Jamie was paid £14 per hour. He receives a pay increase of 20%. How much does he now get paid per hour? Okay, so we've got Jamie. We want 10% of his £14. We're going to divide by 10 because there's 10 tens in 100%, so £1.40, and 20% is double that, so it's £2.80, and we are doing an increase, so we've got our original £14 plus our £2.80, which is £16.80. Okay, next bit here. We've got minus 4, x minus 3, and we've got 1. There we are, I've just got it in a little bit closer so we can see this. So we've got minus 4 is less than or equal to x minus 3, which is less than 1. Now we've got x minus 3 in the middle, so we've got minus 4 less than or equal to x minus 3 less than 1. So we want to get rid of this minus 3. We've got to add 3 to both sides. So minus 4 plus 3 is minus 1, less than or equal to x less than 4. So what are the integer whole number values that satisfy this inequality? Well, we're including minus 1, but we're not including 4. So we're just going to list all the numbers up to 4. So it's minus 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. And if I try these now, minus 1 minus 3 gives me minus 4, so that fits the inequality. And as I work my way along, taking away 3, it's going to fit between these two values until I get to 3 minus 3 is 0. When I try 4 minus 3, though, I'm going to get 1, and we said we don't want to include 1, so that's why that doesn't fit. Okay. On to the next one. We've got a probability question. So we've got a spinner, fair spinner, numbered 2, 5, and 8. He spins the spinner twice and adds the two scores to get a total. Complete the table. So we've got 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 plus 5 is 7, 2 plus 8 is 10, and then working across, 5 plus 8 is 13, 8 plus 2 is 10. So I've filled in my table and find the probability that the total is a square number. So how many square numbers have I got? I've got 2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got 2 out of 9. Okay, nice start. So we've got Layla and Jamal open a box of sweets. They share the sweets in the ratio of 2 to 3. Write down the fraction of the sweets that Layla receives. Okay, so if we imagine this as a bar chart, a model here, we've got 2 here for Layla, and we've got Jamal for 3. So for every 2 sweets he gets 3. So in total, they're sharing out 5 sweets every time. So that means she's getting 2 out of every 5 sweets, which is the fraction 2 out of 5 sweets, not 2/3. That's what you'd normally see written when it's wrong. It's actually 2/5. Right, Layla eats some of her sweets. She's left with 18% of the sweets that were in the box. Work out the percentage of her sweets that she had eaten. Okay, so we'd start by making everything percentages. The 2/5 is 4/10, 40 over 100, which is 40%. Okay, 40% meaning per 100. So 40%, and she has eaten 18%, which means that what she has left is 22%. So we're working out the percentage of her sweets that she's eaten. It's a sort of percentage change question. 22 out of 40 and times 100. Because this is a non-calculated paper, that's a bit more difficult calculation, so let's work with it, change it to a percentage. So 22 over 40 is the same as 11 over 20, halved everything, which if I put that over 100, I'm timesing by 5, so I times by 5 here, meaning 55 over 100, 55%. Quite a tricky question, quite near the start of the paper. Okay, so that's the first 4 questions answered. So on to question 5. we've got then Ashley goes on a journey. She travels in the taxi for 1/8 of the journey. And then she travels by train for 4/5 of the journey. And then she walked for the remaining 900 metres. And it says, find the length of the journey in kilometres. That's a key bit because we're currently in metres here. Right. Now, the first bit is how far has she gone here as a fraction to work out what fraction of the whole journey 900 metres is. So we're going to change these into common denominators, so 40ths. So this one I'm timesing by 5. 1/8 times 5 is 5/40. This one I'm timesing by 8. 5 times 8 is 40. 4 times 8 is 32. So overall, I've got 37 out of 40. And 37/40ths of the journey were by car and taxi, which means that 900 metres was 3/40ths of the journey. So 1/40th of the journey, let me move it up a little bit. 1/40th of the journey is, this is 3 lots, so 3/40ths of the journey, so that's going to be divided by 3 to give me 1/40th. So that means we've got 300 metres is 1/40th. So what's 1 whole, or what's 40th over 40? So we want 40 times 300. So 4 3s are 12, and then we've got times 10 times 10 times 10. So 0, 0, 0. Okay. Again, like we said, this is in metres. The length of the journey in kilometres. So divide that by 1,000. There's 1,000 metres in a kilometre, meaning that she has 12 kilometres in an entire journey. Okay, question 6. The graph shows information about a population of a village. Population of the village in 2021 was 4740. Plot this on the graph. So 2021. Now it's showing population in thousands, so 4.7 would be 4,700. Move it across so you can see that fully. So 4740, we're plotting 4.74. Divided that by 1,000. So we've got 2021. So there is 4.7, and there is 5 between each of these here. So there's 5. Look that this way a bit. So there's 5 in between each of these points, which means each one of those is a sort of 0.02. So 4.7, 4.72, 4.74 would be there. Okay, I'm doing 1, 2, 2. And it says next, work out the increase in the population of the village between 2016 and 2018. So 2018, going up here, we've got 4.4, 4.42, 4.44, 4.46, 4.48. So 4.48, which we know is 4480. And then in 2016, we go 4.1, 12, 14, 16. So 4.16, which is 4160. Take them away from each other. We've got 320 as our answer. Now these two, I'm going to write these. These are questions about the graph. So she says there's a huge increase in the population of the village between 2015 and 2020. Describe how Rowan may have been misled by the graph. Now this question is getting at, so if we look at this graph, we can see, there's quite a steep curve, and at the moment it does look like we've gone from very little in our population. It's coming up to quite high numbers, but what we've got to take into account here is we're not starting at 0, and that is what is misleading about the graph. So a comment that says the graph doesn't start at 0 or the graph starts at 4 is what this question is looking for. So we've got another one here as well. Blake says the population of the village will be greater than 4,800 in 2022. Write down an assumption that Blake has made. Again, really simple actually, is that what we can see is the graph increasing steadily up here. And what the assumption is that he's making is that the population is going to continue to grow, or that people aren't going to move out of the village at any point. So it's just going to continue to increase. So any comment that says he's assuming that it's going to continue to increase is what we're looking for in that one. So question 6 then. Sorry, question 7 even. One more than I thought. Okay, diagram shows a straight line crossing a pair of parallel lines. So parallel line angles, we can see here we've got a pair of corresponding angles. And we know that corresponding angles are equal. So this 3x minus 23 is equal to y. So there's the first thing I can say. 3x minus 23 is equal to y. What I can also say is these two are on a straight line, so they add up to 180. And this is a question where I need to show my working. So I need to form an equation in these kinds of questions. So 3x minus 23 plus x plus 35 is equal to 180. Let's put my x's together. So I've got 4 x's, and then I've got minus 23 plus 35 there, meaning I've got plus 12 equal to 180. So if I take 12 off both sides, I'm left with 4x. 180 take away 12 is 168. And then I'm going to divide 4. Put it this way so you can see the other edge of my writing there. So 4x divided by 4 is x. 168 divided by 4 is 42. So we've got that far. So x is 42. It's not asking for x though, it's asking for y. So we're going to need to figure out if these two are the same. Let's figure out what this angle is. So 3x minus 23, just move it up a little bit, then will become 3 times 42, take away 23, which comes out at 126 minus 23, 103 degrees. We know that that is also equal to y, so y is 103 degrees. All done. Okay, this one is a plans and elevations question. Diagram shows a cylinder. It's got a radius of 15 and a height of 20. On the grid below, draw the plan view. So we're looking down, we'll be able to see the circle on the top of the cylinder. Now, the only added extra here is 1 centimetre represents 5 centimetres. So what it's saying is 1 centimetre in real life is going to be equivalent to 5 centimetres here. So in other words, each one of these squares is going to be, so 1 centimetre on my diagram is going to be 5 centimetres in real life. So each one of these squares is going to be 5 centimetres of this, which means that if I'm drawing this, I'm not going to draw it because I haven't got any compass to hand. So 15, how many times am I going to need to draw a square across? It's 3 times. So 5, 10, 15. So it's going to be a radius like that, and you would draw the circle in. So a 3 centimetre radius is what it's looking for. 15 divided by 5 to give me the radius. Okay, and you would fill that in with a circle. I'm not going to even attempt to freehand that. Okay, then on the grid below, we now want a front elevation of the cylinder. So if I bring this back, we're going to have, if I was looking at this from the front, I'd be able to see this rectangle shape here, and it would be 30 centimetres across, and it would be 20 centimetres down. So let's just put that next to my diagram here. So it would be a rectangle that would be 30 centimetres by 20 centimetres. So if I'm going to change that, so 30 divided by 5 is 6, 20 divided by 5 is 4, and then I just take my ruler and I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's across. You can't quite see what I'm doing, can you? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 4 down. There we go. And there is my plan on here, and I can have my dimensions as well. So the student says they have placed the following values in order, starting with the smallest. Has the student done this correctly? So we've got indices going on here, index laws. So 1/10 squared means we're going to square top and bottom essentially, which means this is 1 squared is 1, 10 squared is 100. That's it, done. Square root of 0.25. That's a really difficult one because, I mean, unless I happen to know off the top of my head that it's 0.5, I'm not going to help myself very much. So I'm going to change this to a fraction, 1/4. And I know that that means I can, just like I can just square top and bottom, I can also just square root top and bottom. So square root of 1 is 1, square root of 4 is 2, so 1/2. 4 to the minus 1 means that we're going to do a reciprocal, so 1 over 4, and that gets rid of the sort of, that deals with the negative sign on this. It says minus 1 here, and then this is the power that goes with this number at the bottom, so that's 1 to the power of 1 over 4 to the power of 1, which is 1/4. Has she got it right? No, she hasn't. This is definitely the smallest, but that would actually be the biggest. So a half versus a quarter, they should be the other way around. And that's what you do to finish up here. We're saying no, because the half and the quarter are the wrong way around. All right, now, last question I'm going to do on here. So this is the 10th question on the paper. The parallelogram and a trapezium, so the area is equal. Okay. The ratio of x to y is 3 to 5. Find the value of x and y. So at the moment, the two parallel sides on my trapezium are x and y, and I know they're in a ratio. And I know the area is equal. I haven't got enough to work with on this to calculate the area, so I'm going to calculate the area of my parallelogram. The area of my parallelogram, start there. So his area is equal to the perpendicular height multiplied by the base. We don't use slant heights. So perpendicular height is this one, 5. Ignore this guy here. We don't want that one. So 5 times 8, which is 40. So this is 40 centimetres squared, which means this is 40 centimetres squared. So let's have a look now then at my trapezium. Now, area of a trapezium is equal to, you can either say a plus b times h divided by 2. I like to do it as a half times a plus b multiplied by the height. And again, we want a perpendicular height. So let's fill in now what we know. So we've got a half times, now a and b are x plus y, and my height is 4. So we can simplify these. Half of 4 is 2, x plus y. And just filling in that bit of information, we know it's got to equal 40. So that means x plus y must be 20. 2 times 20 gives me 40. So 20 is x plus y. So I know my whole amount is 20. So now I'm going back to the ratio. X to y is in the ratio 3 to 5. So x to y is in the ratio 3 to 5. Right. 8 parts. So I need to split 20 into 8 parts, which is 2.5. So divide it by 4, I'm going to get 5, and then I've got to divide that by 2 again. Okay, so if that's 2.5, so x is equal to 3 times 2.5, which is 7.5. And y, you could either do 20 take away 7.5, or you can do 5 times 2.5. Well, 4 of them gives me 10, and another one leaves me 12.5. You can see that, so 7.5 centimetres and 12.5 centimetres, and that is x and y, and that's 6 marks ticked off. Okay, thanks for joining me, and I shall see you soon.